We are on the verge of conference play, with some of the nation's top teams coming head-to-head in only 2 days. All we can do is pick what we think will happen and prepare for anything. We'll be getting to that, plus a busy midweek session on this episode of College Baseball Now.
Ain't no problems, that won't problem with me, no. Let me talk to the chat. They know I was gone for a minute, had to BRB. Had to grab a couple wins, what I DID. They sleeping on the kid, I had to do it BIG. I can never be average, and they want a problem with the boy, they don't want no static. I don't need your cosign, running with God. Wanna test that, tell them what's happening. Took control, run the game. Best believe I'm shining, dog. Counting in my wins, yeah, I love it when they count me out. Off the leash, of the chain, why I been a dog. Best believe I run the game, you know I'm in control of y'all. It's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Beat them up, knock them out. They really don't want no static.
College Baseball Now returns to your screens, to your earbuds, to your podcasting platform of choice. And with it, of course, are your hosting team. Starting with me, your friend, your host, your boy, Drew Wheeler, the director of amateur scouting at Prospects Live. I'm happy to be here with you. Happy to be here with my friends and yours, because we have got an awesome show for tonight. Starting with the gentleman who is in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. It is Mr. JB Sebastiano. JB, howdy. You're wearing your nice tortoise glasses tonight. You look very smart.
Thank you. Yeah, the contacts are bugging me, so it was a glasses type of day today.
I understand. You look really distinguished wearing them. Between that and your hair, you look like you could fit right into classic New York City. It's a good look.
All right, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that.
And I hear only really handsome guys can pull off tortoise glasses too.
I like the glasses, Drew. I always have,
Oh, I appreciate that. Hey, I got a question for you, JB. As it pertains to showers, morning or night showers, which is better? Or do you have a preference? They're different. How you're feeling, maybe?
I've always been a night shower person, personally. That's just always how it's been in my family, honestly. But just I guess the idea of you shower before you get into your bed, so you're clean when you get into bed. That's kind of the logic I've always gone by. But yeah.
I like that. Okay. No disrespect there. Bottom right corner today is going to be the coach. It's Jake Bargery. Jake, it's great to see you, buddy. I love the hat. I'm sure you knew I was going to go to the hat. It's a good-looking hat, obviously. Jake, how have you been, sir?
I've been great, Drew. I put a lot of thought into maybe wearing a different hat today, but I decided this is a good luck hat for the pod, so we're gonna keep it rolling.
Good luck hat. Are you implying you need good luck for some reason?
Well, my picks have not been the best so far, so maybe I should have switched up the hats. I don't know.
Listen,
I feel good in it.
I think you're taking bold shots. I appreciate what you're doing with your picks.
I have taken some bold shots. I think maybe one has worked out, but I mean that's fine.
Jake, I think it's fair to say that between myself, JB, and Josh, we're pretty cowardly. If you're the only one taking bold shots.
I'm also the one with the worst record, so take that however you want.
Fair enough. Hey, on the topic of showers, Jake, morning or night, or is that something where you depends on how you feel?
I've usually been a night shower guy as well, because I feel like back when I was playing ball and working out all the time and everything, it would just feel better when I'd come off the field to come home and take a shower before bed or something. That's just usually was my routine then.
That makes a lot of sense. I get that completely. And joining us in the top right, it is not Josh Catlett. Grandpa Catlett has already shut this episode off. He's like, what are we doing here? 2 episodes in a row. Promise you, though, stick around, LG. This is an episode you're going to want to stick around for, because replacement Josh on this episode, he is more than replacement level. This is at least a 3-win host. It's Mr. Will Dodge. Will, it's an honor and a privilege that we can have you on finally.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It's another beautiful day out here, and happy to talk some ball with you guys.
Nice weather. What's that like?
Ooh, actually, I never caught the official temperature, but I think it was like 70 and sunny, so can't really beat that. Yeah, pretty nice.
Jake, you picked maybe the worst day in the world to come back to the greatest state of them all. It's been horrible weather here in West Tennessee today.
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining on me all day ever since I landed.
I hate to hear that. But alas, the glow in your cheeks and the smile on your face is only one Tennessee could bring. So I know there's blessings in it in some regard. Will, curious, seeing as you're the one that brought this up, I'm hoping you have an interesting opinion on whether morning or night showers are superior.
Sounds like I'm the outlier, but I'm a big morning shower guy. For some reason, anytime I do a night shower, it's asking for a bad hair day the next day, and can't deal with that. So, gotta go with morning showers.
Okay, I have a question, and I don't mean it insultingly. I mean, so I have no room to talk on hair. I mean, I have no hair, so literally no room to talk. Will, how long does your hair take? Because it is very nicely manicured.
I mean, it's about like an hour to dry, and
Really?
I could try whatever I want to try. It's never gonna dry. So
I'll be.
I basically quit the night shower.
Okay. So I will tag in. I take a shower every morning as well, Will. Well, rather, when I am going to shower in the morning, like for work or those kinds of things, I have to be somewhere. I shower in the morning, but I've also been known to be a multiple shower a day guy. I shower at night. I love the idea of going to bed fresh as well that you guys referenced. So a little bit of both there, I think. But speaking of funk, how about that transition, boy? Speaking of funk, some of our teams we're going to talk about cannot shake off some of the funk, shower or not. The midweek has been poison for them. And alas, we're going to get into some discussions about it. JP, we talked in our last episode about the weekend that two teams had. And of course, what would happen, but in the midweek, these two teams are going to collide in a battle of not states. Wake Forest, not a state. They play in North Carolina. Coastal Carolina, not a state, play in South Carolina. So in some regard, a little bit of, a little bit of jar there. And yet, two teams who I think the pitching has defined them, at least recently. I'm curious, What did you make of this midweek action on Tuesday between Wake and Coastal?
Yeah, well, Coastal, they started freshman Daniel Parker. He went 3 innings, no earned, showed out for them. It was a great showing from Daniel Parker. But on the other side, Wake Forest had Cameron Bagwell going. He had a solid outing, 4 2/3, 2 earned runs. But behind him is really when the game fell apart as soon as he came out of the game. Reese Bowie came in, got 1 out, 3 earned runs. Luke Schmokey came in behind him, didn't get an out, 2 earned runs. They walked 3 combined batters together. And then after that, Troy Dressler came in, gave him 1 inning, 2 earned runs. It was kind of a mess from the Demon Deacon bullpen. After a 15-game win streak, they kind of just lost it. All the mojo was gone when you watched that game. And Coastal's offense took big advantage of a lot of miscues there from a Wake Forest team that you're not used to seeing, especially in the throwing strikes department. So, yeah, I think honestly it was just a good showing for Coastal to show that they still got some oomph in them after kind of a rough, bumpy start. And for Wake, it was kind of maybe leveling back down to earth after that 15-win surge that we saw after a loss to Houston to start the year. So, I don't know. It'll be an interesting weekend to see, and I know we'll get into it later for them, but interesting to see.
It definitely will, and I think that the punches are not going to stop here for Wake. I mean, I think if Coastal punched them, then I think we're getting ready for, like, I don't know, Muhammad Ali or Chuck Liddell or something coming their way, because it is not going to stop here. Jake, JB mentioned it. Wake was coming off of a 15-game win streak, and to lose to Coastal, who for maybe the last 2 weeks prior to this weekend was a little iffy on Coastal. I think that it's interesting to see that Wake would choose this not choose. I guess they would falter in this moment, though. And before you answer, Jake, I do have to show this. JB triggered one of my favorite memes. Is talking about Reese Bowie, who did make the best face ever upon giving up a home run to Tennessee last year. Shout out Reese Bowie. Anyway, Jake, what is the outlook right now for Coastal in your mind after this kind of resurgence almost a month into the season?
I mean, I feel like this has to feel really good for them. You know, they get a big win over a really good team. Obviously, you just mentioned Wake Forest was on a 15-game win streak there. Well-regarded team. This is a I think this is just kind of should give them confidence going forward. I mean, they've been pitching well without their guys. I mean, their arguably three best pitchers on their team haven't been around very much. Last weekend they looked just fine without them, and I think getting this midweek win should give a boost to that offense as well and give them some confidence going forward.
I think so as well. It would be good for Coastal at least if that were the case. Will, we're going to go to you here. Thinking about this kind of matchup for both Wake and Coastal, do you think, and this is kind of a complex question, but I know you can handle it. Do you think that this is better for Wake to have lost this game here against Coastal midweek than to continue on a 16-game high going into the Seminoles, or, you know, that matchup coming to you to start ACC? Like, I think I would almost have rather lost a one game to go in kind of with hey, it's okay, now let's start a next streak. Or do you think differently?
Yeah, you and I definitely disagree on that. I would, have that fear that starting one game like with an L is going to start a new streak. I would definitely, if I was in Wake's shoes, that I want to keep that win streak rolling as long as possible. And plus, I mean, like, when you're talking about a committee standpoint, they're going to count every game as the same. And they don't really care if it's a win streak ender or if there's ifs and buts on the loss. They're going to count that as a loss, and it was a pretty sizable loss. I mean, 10-4.
To your point as well, Will, it's not like there's no panache to a Coastal team who last year, I'll let you check the history books at home if you're not familiar with what Coastal did in 2025. But alas, Coastal still has some weight to their name. This is not like losing to a chum team, for lack of a better word, and apologies to any teams who self-identify as chum at home, but this is not like losing to a nobody, correct, Will?
No, but I will be honest, though. Once I saw that Fluky and Johnson were down for an extended portion week 2, I wrote them off. I thought that was going to be wraps for them. And so to see them like figure this out and to put up a good effort against Wake, and I know they've got a pretty big series coming up this weekend. They're still a good team. They may not be doing it the way that they normally like to do it. It's been a big like offensive fight for them, but Coastal is still going to be Coastal. They're pretty much the top of the mid-major class, and anytime you're going to fight with them, it's going to be tough, especially until Tuesday.
Good point. Very good point. I will say, Will, that's a great transition because you say they're the top of the mid-major class. If a certain co-host of ours was here, he may have thrown up all over his camera because he would argue that the Southern Miss Golden Eagles are the top mid-major team. Speaking of, hi, Josh Catlett, how you doing? Jake, let's talk about a humongous midweek matchup when Ole Miss traveled to Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss. Two cataclysmically large expectations out of their fan bases. These are two fan bases who want Omaha, or the season may as well not have happened. And Tuesday, I think they got almost as good of a game as you would have gotten anywhere. Midweek, weekend, region, Omaha. This was a game.
It sure was. What was that word you said? Cataclysmically? That is maybe the first time I've heard that word. That is an awesome word. And I know we can't go 2 weeks in a row without talking about Southern Miss. Josh would not stand for it if he was here, so I will make sure that we get some Southern Miss talk. But for this game, like for someone like me that enjoys really good pitching, this was just an awesome game because the offenses were not flying, and there's also wasn't a ton of strikeouts either. This is just a classic like weak contact, good defense, may the last man standing wins kind of game. Thomas Crabtree for Southern Miss and Taylor Robb for Ole Miss both opened the game strong before they turned it over to the pen, and for the most part, the bullpen took care of business on both sides. Like Tristan Becerra and Kyle Morrison swapped solo homers in the 5th, and it was just more stale offense going forward until we got to the 9th inning. Southern Miss got some guys on, got them over, and then Tucker Stockman drove in the winning run there to win in walk-off fashion. Just a good Mississippi matchup did not disappoint us.
It certainly didn't. JB, I have one question for you: is Thomas Crabtree, is he in the running for like the Josh Catlett-ist player of all time? I think he has to be.
Yeah, I think he was up there for what was it that he texted that Crabtree, of course, would let him down or something in that first game when he gave up the
I think
homer,
so.
and then he
think
did
so.
that, and then he threw well after that. I don't know. That is a
Yeah.
very Josh Catlett guy right there.
Just, I mean, if we were to make the all Catlett team, I think Crabtree is a first team all Catlett team guy.
Yeah.
On the topic of Crabtree and Southern Miss, JB, looking ahead for them, not a cakewalk. I mean, Sun Belt competition well and good and going here now this weekend. Everybody 0-0. Yeah, I had to cross check that. Everybody with no record in the Sun Belt. Not really a weak team in the old Fun Belt. I mean, Georgia Southern, maybe if you really wanted to, spitball and throw some stones. Certainly one of the strongest, though, at least record-wise, whenever Jake's friends from Arkansas State are going to be playing Southern Miss this weekend. So, JB, I'm curious, what's the outlook for Southern Miss? Is this kind of how big of a threat do you see this as being to them as Southern Miss travels to Jonesboro?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a good test for them. I think a lot of their big games have been at home, if I'm not mistaken. Santa Barbara, these midweeks we've talked about. They went to La Tech, I guess. I mean, that's really the one game that they went out there to play. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a really good test, especially in conference play. It's always a tricky thing in conference play, no matter who you play. In any conference, it's always a trip up every single weekend. It's just really important to win those games. So, I think that that's going to be tough for them. They do get to play. I mean, being a North Carolina native, App State's kind of a freebie for a weekend, honestly. So that's their one freebie that they get going there. Would be App State, but outside of that, you are right. Like in Georgia Southern, but we'll talk about them in a second. They had themselves a game too, so you never know.
That's true. That's a good point. Will, before I come to you, Jake, thinking about like Sun Belt teams beyond Hattiesburg and like Lafayette, I guess Texas State. Are there any other home atmospheres? Conway, I guess. Are there any other atmospheres I'm forgetting that you would consider to be like a definite hostile environment? Like, would you call Jonesboro hostile?
Not necessarily. Louisiana has a really good environment at their field. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know too much about the environment at Arkansas State. I like the team and the players. I don't know that Jonesboro you would say is necessarily like a daunting environment. App State has a pretty picturesque field in the
gorgeous field
in the fall. But yeah, the environments. Yeah, you pretty much hit it. I guess Troy maybe could be a
Troy
be a pretty tough one.
Yeah, the trees certainly don't do much heckling in Boone, but a gorgeous visage nonetheless. Will, I kind of would go to the opposite that I asked JB because, we talked about Southern and what they have coming up. Ole Miss, say what we will about Arkansas State. Jake, you were very polite to a fan base that you're clearly very passionate about and friends with. But Will, Texas, and not just Texas, I believe Ole Miss is going to be traveling to Austin. That is certainly an environment that makes you pause and reflect.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And, Ole Miss is a little bit of an older team, so, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt of being able to handle a big road trip coming up. But they're going to have their hands full this weekend.
They certainly will. It is going to be a test for them for sure. I think what Hunter Elliott we see on Friday is going to be a great indication of what the rest of this weekend is going to look like for Ole Miss. But I think it's going to be fun to see. Especially, I'll tell you another one is Becerra. I'm excited to see how he plays against Texas's arms as well. But we'll get to all that later on in the show. JB, it's been far too long since we've had you chop up about some good old California baseball. And now, JB, I've done you the favor of bringing another California boy in. So we're about to, I don't know, vibe out in California stuff. Jake, let's get our notebooks out. We're going to study this. JB, Irvine, one of your favorite teams to talk about, they were playing in Los Angeles this week against UCLA.
Yeah, they were. Wasn't the best of showings from the Anteaters. Pick'em Omaha 8 not looking so great with the Anteaters in there, but I had to swing the stick a couple times for somebody from the West Coast, so maybe we go 1 for 2. One of those teams is looking all right, so I'll take that. The Anteaters, though, they started Cade Castles, their top freshman arm. He threw against them in the scrimmage back in whenever that was in the fall. I honestly forget what it was, but he went out there. He shoved against them the first time around. I believe he struck out Chalowski, Lavu. I mean, it was a big deal on Twitter. This time around, not so good of luck for Mr. Castles. 2 outs, 5 earned runs, 9 total runs scored in his outing. So not necessarily what you're looking for from the Anteaters to start a ball game. Angel Cervantes on the other side, 3 innings, no runs, looked great. The whole bullpen looked great, honestly. Strickland, Grotu, Swenson, everybody did a great job. Strickland allowed the only run, and the offense kind of exploded again. Chalowski had a nice homer. Cashel Duggar had a homer as well. Mulavai Lavu with an RBI double, and Roman Martin was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs as well. So, I mean, this UCLA offense keeps chugging. Gasparino is the only one that we didn't hear from in that game, 0 for 2. But outside of that, I mean, they keep chugging along like nobody's business right now. So, definitely one of the most fun teams in the country to watch, I'd say.
Yeah, the offense is just – they're unconscious right now. And like you said, the game that we don't hear from Gasparino, you get big extra base hits from – 3 other guys, plus a 2 for 4 out of Roman Martin. It's just, this is what you want to see if you're a Bruins guy. And even the Anteaters guy says impressive win. So I like that for sure. Jake, thinking about UCLA, thinking about the games that they have coming up, I know that this weekend, I'm trying to pull it up now to see what they've got coming in. Michigan. Exactly. Thank you, JB.
Yep.
Michigan at home. Michigan's going to be traveling to LA. They're going to play at Jackie Robinson. Michigan's not a bad team. We've had them kind of in our peripheral of the top 25 as a group for a couple weeks now. But do you think that there's a shot Michigan pulls out a game here, Jake? Like 1 of 3. What are the odds here?
I mean, there's always a shot. Like, this UCLA team is going crazy though. Like JB just mentioned all the guys, and we didn't even hear from Will Gasparino, and they still won 11-1 and run ruled a good
Quality
pitching
team.
UC Irvine team. So like, I don't know if that offense gets rolling. I don't really know how you stop them. For Michigan, like we've talked about Tate Carey on here. I think he's going to give them their best chance to win if we can get a good outing from him and some of those hitters get going. But I'll never say there's not a chance, but it's going to be a tough weekend. Michigan going to UCLA for sure.
I think so too. Well, considering, like I just said, Irvine's a good team. They're a good team. UCLA put up 11 runs on them boys. Run ruled them in a midweek. My question for you, just because we haven't gotten to hear from you on the podcast, how many teams do you put on UCLA's level right now?
They're 1. I mean, I put it out after they had that massive comeback against Mississippi State. They're for the time being, they're gonna be my national champion pick. I like the lineup is so deep. You can go 1 through 9. It's gonna be someone that's gonna give you a good at bat that can take the pitcher yard. But I think the more impressive thing is that they have like 8 to 9 guys that I would trust pitching in regional. Like, maybe not like starting, coming in and out of relief, but John Savage has loaded that roster. It is just stacked with arms and bats, and to me, they are the deepest team in the nation.
We talked a lot in the preseason, Will, about how, I guess, curiously about what the weekend rotation would look like for UCLA, and I don't think any of us was correct. And yet now you think about it, and I think it's pretty good to see that depth there for sure. Okay. Well, you talked about it just a minute ago, or excuse me, JB talked about it a minute ago, how Georgia Southern, we would talk about it in just a second. I know you're working a lot on our ACC section for the College Daily Sheet. So thank you for that, first of all. But let's talk about what Clemson did in their midweek when they faced Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I mean, you started the midweek talk with Wake Forest, and with me covering the ACC, I was pretty much ready to talk about any part of this ACC car wreck that was the midweek. I think there was maybe 7 teams that went down. I think 4 of them were ranked. It was not a good midweek for the ACC. And for Clemson, it was in the blink of an eye. I mean, Sean White hits a grand slam in the second, and boom, it's 6-0. And not to say that a grand slam is a 6-run homer, but it was part of a 6-run second inning for Georgia Southern. Tyler Lichtenberg had a solo home run to respond in the second, but that was it for Clemson. I think they had 3 hits in total for the whole game, and we'll get to it later. They have a massive series coming up this weekend with Georgia Tech that is tearing the baseball up right now. I think they are statistically per weighted runs created plus the best offense in baseball, D1 baseball, and put up an outing like that is not going to get you ready for this weekend.
It certainly will not. It most certainly won't. You mentioned as well, just kind of the referencing the ACC's kind of, I think you called it a car crash. Love that. Very good visual. However, one team that I think was kind of immune from this, 16 car pileup, Louisville. They actually had a really impressive win, 16-5 over Marshall. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the debut of a very important player for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and it wasn't just yesterday. They did it again today. I think it was 16-6. They had a 2-game set against Marshall. I wanted to get a head start on the daily sheet just because I looked at the box score and Louisville just went top to bottom, just completely stuffed it. You talked about the double run rule. Of the 3 guys I'm going to highlight, all of them had the little emoji markers, and the guy that came back, Zion Rose, had 2 emojis that popped up. And I'm sneaking in a nice little rehab assignment for him. But 2 doubles in the first game yesterday. Today, when we're recording on Wednesday, home run and a stolen base. And then Ben Slaker on Tuesday, 2 home runs, 1 today. Tage Davis, 1 home run yesterday, 2 today, and 2/3 of an inning. Like they are just tearing the cover off the ball right now. I was watching a good part of their opening series against Michigan State, and I got really concerned about their pitching staff. But if they're gonna hit like this, it doesn't really matter.
So you said Tage Davis over 2 days has 3 home runs in those 2 days?
So does Ben Slanker.
Jake, your propaganda is ringing vigorously right now. Tage Davis, 3 homers in 2 days. Let's go.
I know. I love it. Shout out Pennsylvania high school baseball. My boy Tage Davis.
Shout him out. Absolutely. Jake, we'll stick with you really quickly. Florida State and Florida, they also had a midweek game on Tuesday, so that would have been yesterday as the time of recording. Really quick, man, what do you think the major takeaway from that game was? Florida ended up winning 6-3.
They did, yeah. Florida got the best. Florida State 6-3 in this one. The thing that stands out to me the most is that Florida struck out FSU 18 times in this game.
Wow.
Like that's crazy from a Florida State lineup that you obviously expect more. They have guys in this lineup that can hit, and to strike out 18 times against a midweek rotation is not something that's super promising. But the game was really decided in the 3rd inning when Florida put up a 5 spot, and FSU was never really able to rally back in it. Will Bavaro had a solo shot in the 4th for FSU, but Brennan Lawson answered right back with one of himself in the 6th. This game's always fun. The in-state out-of-conference Florida battle, and I'd say this one, did live up to the hype. I kind of feel like Florida was more in control than what the score ended up saying that it was. But
Sure.
this was a fun one for sure.
Jake, one more quick question for you just regarding Florida. I look at the box score here just to see the names out of the bullpen. When you say 18 strikeouts, obviously I think, holy moly, I saw a ton of strikeouts. I think it was 18. That's like literally 2/3 of their outs came by the way of the punch out. The names here, though, concerned me. Luke McNeely, Russell Sandiford, Jackson Bargery, Joshua Rittenauer. These are some of Florida's big guns. And my question was going to be, is this silly to use all these arms heading into a weekend series, SEC series, where they may need them? And then I realized they're playing South Carolina. So maybe not. Although, Jake, I still want to say, yeah, I still want to say that, like, that's a lot of your kind of trusted arms to burn on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I think Will mentioned it earlier about how like the committee and the RPI rankings and stuff matter. I feel like they may have been looking ahead a little bit and saying this Florida State win is a little bit more important than South Carolina wins in the end. I mean,
Sure.
I don't think South Carolina is going to be just completely out of the picture in terms of RPI when that time comes. But like,
Right.
I feel like getting this win against Florida State, you can tell they used their best arms. They kind of sold out a little bit for this game. They didn't just run them completely dry. I think there's a chance like Sandifer, he threw 30 pitches.
Yeah.
He could probably bounce back. Rittenauer threw 22. He could probably bounce back, but like you could tell that they did kind of sell out to make sure they got the win in this game.
I think so, but that's okay. I think that it'll be okay. And like you said, there's plenty of days of rest. I mean, that's 3 days of rest in between for those guys if they really needed in a Friday emergency situation that could happen. Anything could happen. Jake, we are going to stick with you now to go through last weekend's picks as we get ready for our weekend pick'em, brought to you by My Omaha 8. Check them out. It is at the very simple to remember, myomaha8.com. Jake, so what happened with last weekend's picks?
Yeah, Drew and JB, you can give yourselves a round of applause or however you want to do it. You guys both went 6-2 last weekend. Me and Josh both broke even at 4-4. Drew only got to get a point for getting Virginia over UNC. Me and JB both got the Coastal Series win. Drew and JB got the Louisiana. I was the only one that rode with Duke in that series, and that one actually, I was pretty excited about that one going into Sunday, but Notre Dame clearly took care of business there. No one got a point. No one got a point for the Cal Poly Hawaii. We all picked Hawaii, and I believe they got swept in that one.
Yeah,
and then we all kind of predicted the Georgia Tech victory. But overall, Drew and Josh are tied for first place, 18-13. JB one game behind them, 17-14, and I'm in last with a record that I will not say out loud.
Jake, I do just want to mention you are 5 games out of first place. This is not, you are not so far out of it.
You gave me the job of reading the recap, so I will keep my record to myself. I'm 13-18. I'll say
Look, I was gonna let it slide. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I appreciate you being candid with our audience. They will appreciate it too. So here's how we're gonna do. As you may notice at home, Josh Catlett is not here. We do have his picks. JB, I'm going to put you officially in charge of representing Josh for his selections. You may choose to lie if you'd like. No, I'm kidding. And Will, I'm sure you're also wondering at home what is going to happen with Will's picks, because we're not going to deprive him of the most fun part of the show. Will, you are going to be the bar to beat on a new leaderboard for our guest pickers. So you're going to set the mark for how they will do in a given week. We'll let you know at the end of the season if you ended up staying at the top. I'm sure you'll get some more cracks at it as time goes on through the season as well. So this will officially be Will Dodge 3-11-26 to compete against other Will Dodges in the future, like a time trial on Mario Kart, if you will. All right, boys, let's get to it because we have got quite arguably a top 5 matchup coming at us, with Mississippi State traveling to take on Arkansas in Fayetteville. And Will, I will start with you on this one because when you think about these two teams, I think, again, like we said earlier about another 2 teams in the South, Omaha or nothing are the expectations for both the Bulldogs and the Hogs. What do you think is going to be the most telling factor for this game, or excuse me, this series this weekend?
For me, it's going to be how does Mississippi State handle this pressure? I think that they have a team that's built almost entirely on young guys and guys that are having their first SEC road series, and they're not just walking in anywhere; they're walking into Fayetteville. For you're looking at like a guy like Duke Stone, Ryan McPherson on the mound. That's probably going to haven't totally double checked, but I'm pretty sure it's their first SEC road start. Looking at guys like Jacob Parker, certainly. Ryder Woodson, James Nunnally, Noah Sullivan, Aiden Teal, first SEC road starts. How are they going to handle that pressure at Arkansas? Honestly, I think they're cut up for it. They were 1 out away from taking down UCLA. That would have made them undefeated at the time. This Miss State team is very, very talented. So I have faith in them walking in there, not getting rattled.
Interesting. Okay, very good, very good. JB, going to come to you here. Arkansas. I think something that we maybe not criticized Mississippi State for early in the season was what exactly is the pitching going to look like for this team? Arkansas was kind of the opposite. We thought we knew that this had, these Razorbacks were loaded top to bottom. You're going to have Friday, Gabe Gackle going, obviously. You're going to have guys like Ethan McIlvain coming out of the bullpen. We knew that there were buzzsaws everywhere you look out of the Hogs pitching core. And yet, Mississippi State has been pleasantly competent on the mound thus far this year. I'm curious, though, JB, to ask, can Mississippi State's bats take on arguably their toughest challenge on the mound in Arkansas? How will they measure up?
Yeah, I think they're prepared for it from especially us seeing them in that tournament that they played in against UCLA and A&M. I don't know. I'm forgetting exactly who they played. I think they played Tennessee too, maybe back in the day. But whoever it was, they played in the best tournament in the country, basically, at that time. So I think they faced some of the highest caliber arms you're going to get. Gackle's had his fair share of struggles at times, that we've seen so far. He's been great, but, he looks hittable. So I think for them, I think it's very much so going to be, can they maintain the approach that we've seen so far in a hostile environment like Will talked about? And then also the guys on the mound for them. I think that's the biggest story. Can they keep it up too?
It is going to be interesting to see. Going to go to you, Jake. I think Baum Walker has to be considered one of the SEC's toughest environments. These are raucous fans with their stupid flags and all their nonsense for every single batter. I think that to kind of piggyback off what Will said a minute ago, if a team was going to rattle these guys on their first SEC road trip, their first SEC weekend start, their first insert blank, fill the blank here however you want to, I think Arkansas is as good a bet as any to do so. Jake, my question to you, though, is can Arkansas capitalize on the pressure that the fans and that environment will add to Mississippi State?
That is a really good point that Mississippi State's bringing some young guys into that crazy environment that is Arkansas. But we've hit the high points on how Arkansas has pitched, and it's going to be really tough to bet against as well as they've been pitching the ball in their home environment against really anybody. But I mean, I don't know. You're talking about a Mississippi State team that's looked like maybe the second best team in the SEC right now. I mean, depending on how you feel about how you feel about Texas, I don't think that's much of a very hot take. Mississippi State they're bringing their arms with them too. The core of their lineup has just been going crazy right now, though. Like Ace Reese, Bryce Chance, like the guys, they're all hitting over 300, all have an OPS over 1,000. I don't know. They've played on big stages this year already. I don't think, as crazy as the environment is, I feel like they're going to be up for the test.
It's going to be difficult to say this, knowing full well that conference play is going. I think this may be the most compelling game between two teams that I don't really think either of them can afford to lose right now. This is two teams who I think both of them have a claim to being, like you said a minute ago, hey, if you think Texas is one, we better be two. Arkansas and Mississippi State are those. So with all that knowledge, Mr. Dodge, we're going to go to you first. Who's your pick, Mississippi State or Arkansas?
Yeah, I'm going Mississippi State. They seem like they're rolling, and Arkansas is coming off a little bit of bad vibes. I think they just broke their 34 series streak of home non-conference opponents winning. I saw that on Twitter after they just split their series with Stetson. It just feels like something's off with Arkansas. I'm going with Miss State.
Okay. Jake, going to go to you. What are you thinking, man?
I think I'm also going to go Mississippi State. The more we talk about it, the better I kind of feel about that. Like you mentioned, Arkansas's kind of sputtering a little bit after they split that 4-gamer with Stetson. That probably doesn't feel too good. Maybe they'll use that as motivation, but for now I'm going to go Mississippi State.
Okay. JB, 2 Mississippi States on the board. What are you thinking first?
Yeah, well, my personal pick, I'm taking Mississippi State too. I think they're rolling hot, and as I was designated per Josh Catlett as well, Mississippi State. So we got all Mississippi State so far. So Drew, you got the chance to take a swing if you want.
I think I might. I really wanted to take Mississippi State here, but the gamer in me is saying, what if? What if Baum Walker is just too much for these guys in their first real kick? Yeah, give me the Hogs. I'll take Arkansas. Although I think I would need to point out I'm picking this for the gamesmanship of it. I think I like Mississippi State's team better, but I really want to see if I can get an edge here point wise. I think this is going to be an incredibly compelling series, though, as you guys have detailed ad nauseum. All right, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Clemson is going to be hosting none other than the the leading offense in the FBS in Georgia Tech. And JB, notoriously down on Georgia Tech. I think you gave them a lot of well-deserved pushback for beating up. I think you said like high school opponents or so. I don't remember what you called them, but you said they were just beating up like, I don't know, some questionable competition. Will, I'm going to start with you here. Which player do you think is going to have the biggest outcome, present the biggest swing to this series for either team?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at anyone that Georgia Tech lineup and they're capable. They're capable of big series. But one guy in that lineup that really hasn't had like his welcome to 2026 series yet is Drew Burress. It seems like that he's hitting single, double, but he hasn't really been getting into the long ball. He just put up an early home run in their midweek this week. Maybe he's getting into a right stretch, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Drew Burress.
Okay,
player of the series.
Interesting. Player of the series, okay. JB, two teams that we know you love quite a bit. The flag over your shoulder is both Georgia Tech and Clemson. It's ironic that you have a flag of both of those teams. Pretty crazy. Yeah. Which of these teams do you think has the edge in terms of pitching, JB?
Definitely the Tigers. I think Clemson has a clear advantage in the pitching department, I think, going in. That being said, the flag over my shoulder, we did see how the pitching advantage worked out for them a weekend ago. So
indeed,
take that as you will.
Take that as you will. Okay. Jake, we let you riff on this guy in the last episode because, as we said, and we'll say it again, Jake, you were right. We were not giving Von Lackey nearly enough credit with our last rankings. Jake, what kind of role do you think that Von Lackey's going to play as Tech goes to Clemson for a huge ACC series?
I mean, I think, you got Drew Burress is clearly like the leader of this team, whether he's got the best overall numbers or not. He's still the leader of this team. Alex Hernandez sitting over 500. I think the next guy you look to is super utility man Von Lackey, who's playing every position on the field now. How crazy was that? But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to go to Lackey. They're going to hope he's the guy that right now they're going to hope is up when the moment comes after Burress. I guess you could say you really want Drew Burress up in that spot, but you're not going to be upset if it's Von Lackey. They're going to be counting on him to come through in some big spots.
I think so. All right, JB, we are going to start with we'll start with you personally. Who are you taking, Tech or Clemson?
I have a feeling where this is going to go for a lot of people. And if you saw the sheet, I'm going to go the opposite direction of where I originally was thinking of going. And I'm going to be taking the Clemson Tigers, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
They're at home. I gotta put my money where my mouth is if I'm talking all this. So I'm going to take the Tigers for the weekend.
JB, I'm not going to lie to you. A couple of weeks ago when you said this is their first actual test, I was like, mark it in Sharpie. He's taking Clemson when we do that series. And I didn't think you would, but I'm proud you did. All right, what about Mr. Catlett? What has he said to you? Has he given you any notes or anything?
Mr. Catlett didn't give me any notes, but we know that he's a big fan of this Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket offense and what they do swinging the bat. And he was a big defender of, runs per game and everything when we had this conversation. So,
Yes, he was.
Mr. Catlett is taking Georgia Tech.
All right, very good. So we're split thus far, Jake. One for Tech, one for Clemson. You're going to have to break the tie, buddy. What are you thinking?
I'm going Georgia Tech. They haven't really given me a reason to pick against them yet. Clemson's pitching it really well. I'm not going to bet against this offense yet, so I'm going Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Will, you do a lot, like we said earlier, you do a lot of work for the ACC. You've gotten to see these teams quite a bit thus far this year. Can Clemson take out Georgia Tech? What's your pick?
I don't really have a ton of conviction on either side. This is a matchup that I'm really been excited for the whole year because the two styles of these teams should make for a terrific fight. Clemson will pound the zone like any other team, and Georgia Tech is a really aggressive squad, so that could make for a Charmin-esque 2-hour 5-minute game, or we could be in for a 20-run affair for Georgia Tech. If I had to pick one or the other, I think I'm gonna go with the Bees. Give me Georgia Tech.
All right, very good. I'll bury the lead quickly. I'm going to take Georgia Tech. My point that I want to make, though, is I think it's really interesting, JB, that thus far we have some 4-1s on the slate, or I guess 3-1s if we're not counting Mr. Dodge, but still 4-1s with you and I taking big swings against the consensus. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for us. All right, enough of the SEC, enough of the ACC. Let's talk about my neck of the woods. Let's talk some Big 12 baseball, baby. TCU, Arizona State, maybe two of the best teams in the conference by my money thus far, and they're going to go mano-a-mano in weekend one of Big 12. Jake, let's start with you. When you consider this matchup, is there a certain player, a certain matchup of player, batter versus pitcher that jumps out as being particularly interesting?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, congrats. I know you've been waiting all year for a marquee Big 12 matchup, and you're finally getting it. This is going to be a fun one. I do want to. The kind of the elephant right now is the Tommy Laporte bad news that TCU got. I don't want to start us out on a negative, but him being out for I think it said 8 more weeks. We're just gonna have to see how they've kind of managed that. Mason Brassfield and Lance Davis both had nice starts against Tulane last weekend. I think Fernsler was also all right. It was just short, so I think they're gonna they might be the guy that they go with going forward, but I think they're gonna want to get a little bit more length out of him. If you're asking me one thing that I'm kind of paying attention to, I think it's just how TCU manages that pitching staff without Laporte, knowing that they're going a longer amount of time without him.
It's going to be curious, man. I know that's not what Gig'em Nation wanted to hear in the slightest out of Laporte. JB, Jake brought it up, said we didn't want to be negative about the Laporte injury news. There's injury news for Arizona State, too, though. Nuno Contreras is going to be out for a considerable amount of time, depending on how you interpret what Skip Schumacher had to say about him after their game Sunday. I'm curious, though, because, JB, this Arizona State offense has just kept ticking.
Yeah.
Even without Contreras, I mean, Andrew Rowling stepped in, and I think he went 4-for-4 with a couple of walks and some runs.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Arizona State offense has definitely been one of the better talking points of Big 12 baseball, I guess, so far, outside of maybe TCU's early season struggles. But yeah, that ASU offense, I think no matter what they're doing, they just seem like they can mash. And Cole Carlone is, on top of that. If you get him out there every weekend, they're always a tough team to play. So it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup, I think, this weekend.
Certainly so. Will, Big 12 baseball has been it's been painful in many regards. These two teams have brought me much joy, though. These have got some good, solid players. They're fun brands of baseball to watch. But JB, with an excellent transition here, what's your current opinion of TCU, knowing that they certainly stumbled some in the early season, but have rebounded with a couple of really nice weekends now?
It was a tough series for them against UCLA. I don't think you could really chalk it up at any way other than that. And then they got dealt with the blow right before that with the Laporte injury. I always kind of looked at them as a two-headed monster with Brunson and Stroessnatter, and then you're just kind of shrugging at what are you going to get with the rest of the team? And so far, I think, they've delivered. Lucas Franco, has been a little bit cold lately, but he's shown some high points. But Cus Gargett and Brady Dallimore are also delivering at the plate. So they're looking a little bit more well-rounded than I think I thought in the beginning of the year. But it's still going to be the Brunson and Stroessnatter show.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, Jake, we're going to start with you because you're wearing a nice hat, buddy. TCU, Arizona State, this Big 12 King Kong and Godzilla. Who's coming out? Who's the best kaiju in the Big 12?
This is a really tough one to decide. I've been thinking about it the whole time we're talking about it. I think I want to pick Arizona State. I've been pretty vocal about really liking the TCU team, especially early on in the year, but just with just the injury stuff, and they're going on the road to Arizona State, and it's hard for me to feel super confident in them right now. So I'm going to go Arizona State at home.
Very good. JB, let's hear from Josh first. What would Josh say?
Yeah, Josh is rocking the Horned Frogs. He's going back to it. We were big on them at the start of the year, and right there with him, I'm taking the Horned Frogs as well.
All right. Will, that brings us to you with 2 on the board for TCU, 1 for the old Sun Devils. Where are you thinking?
There will be no 4-1 split. We're going to even it up right for you, Drew. I'm going with the Sun Devils. Give me Sparky.
All right, very good. Hey, Will, Jake, 3-2. I'm taking Arizona State without a doubt. This has been the team that right now I think is the hottest in the Big 12, with maybe one exception who we're not talking about today. So I'll shout out the Bearcats of Cincinnati as well. That team is in fuego. But can't say in fuego without talking again about Sparky and the Sun Devils. That offense is hot in Arizona. Jake, I'm going to let you walk us through one of the games that you and I are most looking forward to this weekend, as the Tennessee Volunteers are going to be traveling to Athens to take on Georgia. It's going to be an interesting set of 3 at Foley Field, and I'm curious what you think is going to be the deciding factor in that series.
Interesting is definitely the word. I'm really excited about it, though. I'm really glad that we're finally getting some Tennessee versus another SEC team. I guess the thing that I'm paying attention to the most is it's going to be is Tennessee's starting pitching enough to hold down this Georgia offense that's just been going crazy right now, or is Tennessee's offense going to finally take that step up? So I think that's kind of what it's going to come down to me. Like, you look at Tennessee, Tegan Coons, Landon Mack, Evan Blanco, they've been more than good enough to keep them in games, and the bullpen's also been solid. Just the offense has been just way too inconsistent. We talked about it, I think, last episode, so I'm not going to go too in depth with that. But they're just going to need some of their guys to actually step up in the moments that they need them to step up for. And then for Georgia, on offense for Georgia, they got 4 starters hitting over 400. They're hitting 351 as a team. The power has been crazy. Daniel Jackson has 14 homers. Brennan Hudson with 10. They lead the nation with 61, and that's 19 more than the second place team in Vanderbilt, which is crazy. No matter who you're playing against, that's just crazy numbers. So I think it's just a battle of the offenses. Does Tennessee step up and can they cool Georgia down a bit?
I think so. All right. Well, Jake, we will start with you as I lift this sheet of paper that has nothing specific on it. Jake, who are you going to pick here?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I'm not going to pick against Tennessee in the first SEC weekend. So give me the Vols.
Good to know. Will, what are you thinking here, pal?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit biased because I had Georgia as a preseason Omaha 8 for me. They were kind of like one of the sleepers, if you would call them that. And they have pretty much validated every bit of that for me. I mentioned Georgia Tech as number 1 in WRC plus. So number 2 is the Bulldogs. And their arms, they have a fully stacked staff. So, yeah, give me the Bulldogs.
Okay. JB, what are you thinking, sir?
Yeah, me and Mr. Catlett are right there with Mr. Dodge. Great minds think alike, and it's a 3-2 Bulldogs, I'm going to assume right here.
3-2 Bulldogs indeed. The forthcoming pay cuts will be noted. Give me Tennessee. If I can't take them now, when can I take them? I think that this has got to be a big weekend for Tennessee, Jake. I think we see we have to see a solid lineup with the guys in the right order, everybody coming to play against the Georgia team that you and Will both very well emphasized are dangerous offensively. I do think Tennessee may stack up pitching-wise, even against all the transfers in the world and all of Wes Johnson's pitching genius. it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Athens. Interesting to see what happens in Athens. Plural words are difficult. All right, Will, we're going to move on to you to talk about Texas A&M and Oklahoma. A&M, a team that we thought a lot of coming into the year. Oklahoma, one who has sprung up on us and is incredibly, wildly talented. Will, what is going to be the X factor in this game between these two teams in big SEC play?
Yeah, I'm gonna say get a little bit of a cop out, I feel, but like, what kind of health are we gonna get from A&M? Chris Akopian's been on and off the field. Hopefully, if A&M gets three games out of him, I think they're gonna be rolling. Same thing with Caden Sorrell. I know he, I think it was they busted open his thumb and also got hit in the head. Like, he's just been just dealing with all these like different little nagging injuries. So I think A&M staying on the field is going to be a huge point for them because they have all the talent in the world.
Okay, very good. All right, well, then we will start with you as we start the picks. Are you going A&M or are you going to take Oklahoma?
I am, because they also got the arms rolling. Shane Stadau was fantastic in 2024, missed all of 25, but the big money in A&M brought him back for 26, and he's rolling right on again. So I'm going to go with A&M.
The big money at A&M, indeed.
Coming from an Oregon
JV,
guy, so I don't know. Can't really say that.
Fair enough. JV, we will start with you. One on the board for A&M. What are you thinking? Then tell us what Mr. Catlett has chosen as well.
Yeah, well, great minds think alike once again. A&M for me and Mr. Catlett, so we're rocking together with Mr. Dodge there. 3-0.
All right, Jake, 3 A&Ms on the board for you, sir. What are you thinking to see when A&M goes to Norman?
I can't let this happen. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. Cameron Johnson, LJ Mercurius have been terrific. We haven't really talked about Oklahoma a ton since they kind of dominated the Shriners that first weekend, but they've been really good even since then. Cord Rager had like a shorter outing last weekend, but overall he's still been good. So I'll bank on the arms of Oklahoma at home.
Jake, really quick, since you brought him up, on the scouting scale, Cord Rager for a name, where does that grade?
I've put a lot of thought into this. If there's not an 80 grade name, if there's an 80 grade name and it's not Cord Rager, I don't know who you're going to say it is. So
then who is it? I'm with you. Then who is it? If not Cord Rager. Also, I'll saddle up next to you, Jake, and I'll take the Sooners as well. I think Oklahoma. I trust them more right now, but again, the cop out is going to be Will is correct. If A&M comes in totally healthy, I think it's going to be arguably Oklahoma's toughest test of the year thus far. Probably, definitely. They've played some tough teams, especially like you said in the Shriners, but it's going to be tough. JB, going to shift to you on this one to talk about some ACC. Florida State, Wake Forest, two of the toughest teams historically at the top of this conference. Right now, they're also playing pretty big. But, JB, do you think that Wake may have a little bit of a bug in their ear or a chip on their shoulder after a winning streak has been snapped?
Yeah, I think they will. And honestly, too, another advantage for them is playing in their, hitter-friendly park. The couch over there, that place is a boombox for sure. So I think that's something going to help them out. The arms that they got, if they keep rolling Lavanis, Morningstar, and Marston, I mean, that's a big plus for them too. Florida State comes in, it's really going to be a lot of weight on the shoulders of their pitching staff as well to match it and kind of see the offense bounce back from a bad game in Gainesville. So it'll definitely be one of the better series of the weekend.
Definitely. So, all right. We'll start with what Mr. Catlett had to say. JB, what did he pick?
Mr. Catlett took Florida State. He's going to be rocking with them, bouncing back, and I'm going to be bouncing back with Wake Forest. So we're going to go 1-1 to start this one.
So we're just trampolining here. We're just everybody's bouncing everywhere. Who's bouncing back furthest? It's like that game where you put one guy in the middle and he's got like wrapped up, and everybody's bouncing, trying to shoot him up in the air. Who's going to be the guy to fly the farthest? Will, you talk a lot about ACC for the College Daily Sheet. Both of these teams need a win after the loss they had against quality opponents, nonetheless. But who do you think pulls it out this weekend with Florida State and Wake Forest in a very tough series?
Yeah, JB mentioned it that Florida State's got this explosive offense, but I think Wake Forest may have an even better pitching staff. That three that they're going to roll out this weekend, I would say is the best three in the nation. And I'm going to go with the Demon Deacons on the road.
All right, very good. Jake, going to take it to you here, man. Florida State's pitching has been one that you have propped up and elevated since the beginning of college baseball now, and yet I don't think you or I, either one, could disagree with the fact that Wake probably has, I mean, for smart money, arguably a top 5 weekend rotation in the country, if not number 1. Do you think Florida State's can have a rope-a-dope with these guys? Can they box back and forth with a top rotation?
I think they can. I've talked about it a lot. I really do like this Florida State staff. Wes Mendez has been excellent, as Josh predicted that he would be. Trey Beard is settling in nicely as a Saturday guy, as I predicted that he would. And Bryson Moore, he bounced back pretty good after giving up a few runs in his first couple starts. I think I am going to go Florida State. I was kind of leaning Wake. I was kind of bouncing back and forth. I didn't really know in this one, but I like Florida State. I like them being able to hit for power as well. So I'm going with that.
I got one thing to jump in on there. Somehow Josh Catlett gets to be the Wes Mendez guy now. I mean, gosh, I went down there last year at Florida State with UNC, and I love this dude. And Josh just randomly picked him out this season. Now he's Josh's guy. My gosh.
Josh isn't even here to claim it. It's like he's claiming guys that you have. Wow.
I was Wes Mendez truther last year, way back in the day when he was getting rocked. But I guess we're here.
Crazy how that works. You guys have left me with a split board, and I'm left with a very tough decision because, Will, I don't know if you know this or not, but in one of our earlier podcasts, we had to pick extreme dark horses for Golden Spikes winners. Did you hear that?
No, I did not catch that, but I'm excited to hear what you got.
My choice for that award was Braden Dowd, and I think weeks like the last 2 that he's had, even after an injury, give me a lot. I think your boy may have. There's a path if you squint to that being a reasonable thing for a human to say. I'm certainly not reasonable, hardly a human, but FSU is a team I really like. That said, I think Wake's pitching staff is going to get it done this weekend. I'm concerned about what a home field advantage could look like. I'm concerned about what Florida State does. Again, you consider what just happened with Florida. Quality pitching staff, 18 strikeouts. Was that the number, Jake?
Yes, 18 was the number. Yep.
What's Wake going to do to these guys? Give me Wake Forest and the pitching there. All right, let's put the accelerator on to talk about Ole Miss and Texas. Will, you walked us through it earlier. Ole Miss has got a good team with a lot of upside heading against arguably the number 1 team in the country, depending on how you feel about it. Will, who are you taking, Ole Miss or Texas?
This is going to be two pitching staffs that I think are going to dominate. But, you mentioned Texas might be the best team in the nation. I feel like they're not even rolling yet, and I think they're not going to roll for one more week. Give me the Ole Miss Rebels.
Ooh.
Cade Townsend is one of the most underrated arms in the nation. I think he's going to ball out on Saturday.
Oxford, Mississippi. I can hear them roaring from my seat right here at that pick, Will. JB, we'll ask you first, not Josh, you first. Who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, I took Texas. We're going back against it with the Longhorns, and we know who Josh is riding as well. He's a big Longhorns guy too. So, yeah, the both of us are rocking Texas.
Texas, arguably a top 5 Josh Catlett team, immense, amongst several others. I think UNC at this point is probably like his number 12 favorite team. We'll have to check in with him whenever he decides to show his face around these parts again. Jake, curious, 2 on the board for Texas, 1 for Ole Miss. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, Will, I'm sorry to leave you kind of hanging out to dry here. I am going to go Texas as well. I just, they're playing at home. I think the pitching staff matches up well against really anybody in the country, but I do like it against this Ole Miss offense. Riojas, Volantis. I mean, Luke Harrison. Who's going to score on them? I'm going Texas.
Yeah. Well, I went into this thinking. I went into this thinking I was going to pick one way, but I can't do it. Yes, I can. I'm going Texas without a doubt. All right, Coach, I'm going to let you have your moment here because we are going to talk for our 8th matchup of the week. We're going sicko mode mid-major time. So, Coach, walk us through Missouri State Liberty. What can we look forward to in this game with a couple of really high-profile draft prospects squaring off?
Yeah, there sure is. These two teams. These are two of my favorites. They're both going to be in the top 12 of my newest mid-major top 30. But this series is kind of just like a tale of two different playing styles, pretty much. Like Missouri State, they hit right. Caden Bogenpaul, he hasn't really just been lighting the world on fire, but teams have been pitching all the way around him nonstop. He's leading the nation. He's got 25 walks right now, which is just crazy. But that opens up opportunities for guys like Curry Sutherland, Logan Fife, Jax Ryan, Max Knight. Those guys are driving in runs, and their pitching honestly has not been great, but neither has like Liberty's offense. And Liberty's hitting less than 250 as a team. Tanner Marsh, Nick Barone, and Josh Campos have been hitting for average, but the rest really haven't, and there's not much power or production overall either. But the big strength for this Liberty team is their pitching. Obviously, you mentioned the two draft prospects. The first was Caden Bogenpaul. On the pitching side for Liberty, it's Ben Blair. We're a big fan of Ben Blair at Prospects Live, and he's just he's been balling for them this year. Jackson Lucas, he got roughed up a little bit in his last start, but he's been solid in the Saturday role. And Bradley Zayek has also been really well, pitched really well for them too. And I think the matchup here is clearly Missouri State's offense versus Liberty's pitching and defense.
It's going to be an interesting one. Jake, we will let you choose first since you walked us through that, and thank you for doing that. Who are you going to choose between Missouri State and Liberty?
I think Ben Blair is going to give Liberty as good a chance of any as getting that Friday game, but I think I am going to go Missouri State overall. I like the offense. If this turns into any sort of high scoring affair at all, I think I'm going to go with their offense over Liberty's.
Okay, very good. Will, going to come to you now. Well, looking at this Missouri State team, two very early season wins over Louisiana, who's a team that all of us are just darlings for. Played Ole Miss very close. Couple of big wins over Memphis, an 8-7 loss to Oklahoma State. However, this Tuesday, Jake, old SEMO State put 13-6 on Missouri State. On the other hand, of course, Liberty, they did get a weekend win against West Virginia earlier this year, Will. A big win over High Point, who we saw took Texas. Two midweek games over High Point, as well as another big win over UNC Greensboro on Tuesday. I'm curious, Will, where are you going, Liberty or Missouri State?
Yeah, Jake really hit the nail on the head that Liberty can pitch it and Missouri State can hit it. But I'm going to say that Liberty can hit it a lot better than Missouri State can pitch it. So give me Liberty or give me death.
Oh, I love it. I was hoping somebody would say that. Very good. JB, we'll ask you first. Who are you taking in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Liberty. Behind that, Josh took Missouri State. So, we're splitting once again. But personally, I'm going Liberty.
You and Josh splitting is the way the world is designed to work. So it makes good sense to me. And that brings me again to a split, huh? Wow, love that. All right, I am going to break the tie in this one, and this has been a game time decision for me the whole pod. I think I'm going to go Liberty just based on what Will said. I really wanted to take Missouri State, but the pitching is just so suspect, and Liberty can put up some runs. That's a really tough matchup, arguably the second or third toughest, I think, of this slate. And that is going to wrap us up for Weekend Pick'em. That is also going to wrap up Will Dodge's appearance with us on College Baseball Now. Will, what a wonderful time it's been for you to join us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Was definitely planning out like different ways I wanted to go with the pick'em. I'm very pleased with how the board lies for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We are very thankful for you joining us. Do want to encourage everybody. If you're not subscribed to Prospects Live, you may do so on the site. Membership starts as low as $7 a month. where you can get Will's insights, not only his live looks, of which a new one is coming out very soon. You can get his appearances on the College Daily Sheet, where he covers ACC baseball, as you may have implied from listening to him speak about it tonight. All kinds of great things. Jake does good work over there. JB is all the time working on some good stuff over there. But Will, if you would please tell the fine people at home where they can follow you between episodes of College Baseball Now and what you're working on.
Yeah, pretty easy. Just Will T Dodge like the car on Twitter. You can also find me there on Venmo if you want to give a nice tip. I'll flip the iPad for you guys. What I'm working on, I've got live looks coming out tomorrow for the Friday night game of San Diego at Cal from last week, and I'll be rolling another one this weekend. JB's Heels are traveling to Berkeley, so I'm gonna be there Saturday. But I think I hinted at in that article. Friday, I'm bubbling with excitement. I'm making the drive up to Davis to watch UC Santa Barbara and Mr. Flora on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exciting.
Looking forward to hear what you think about him in person. That's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, and also, last Sunday I put out the February Team of the Month for the college draft group. Just wanted to kind of get a quick season review. I know we do great work on the dailies, but want to do something that was a little bit broader for the season going on. So check that out if you wanted a quick little recap.
Absolutely, it is well worth a read. About 21 minutes of just really good insight about those players. The whole staff, or rather our team, our amateur and draft team, voted on those players. It was a fun exercise. I really enjoyed getting to compare some of the top guys to one another for my voting. Jake, tell the folks where they can find you on the interwebs and what you're working on right now.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Barge. On there, I post every now and then, and I've been posting the mid-major power rankings. I've been a little bit behind, had some pretty busy days these last few days, but I am going to have my new rankings for this past week out probably by the time this podcast is released. So I'll be on the lookout for that. And I'm just kind of tracking the Northeast baseball, getting out to as many games as I can right now. So
very good. Always love it. Whenever you get to be at the park, Jake, you have great insights, Coach. Glad to have you back in the best state of them all as well. JB. Buddy, the glasses were killer all episode. Tell the people at home where they can find you between your pods and what you're working on as well.
Yeah, you can find me at JB_Sebastiano on Twitter. Kind of the same old deal, mostly going to be doing a lot of stuff with the rankings when we get that going soon, and that'll be it. And this will be my last pod for a little bit too. Going on a little vacation like Josh. So yeah, we're going to have – I will be the one getting replaced unlike Josh. Josh gets to trash me for the next, 2 or 3. So there you go.
So we lose Catlett for a couple episodes, and now you're dipping, Jake. What are we going to do here?
I don't know how we're going to survive without them two being together. But when they do both come back and they're on at the same time, it's going to be that much better. So
fireworks. Jake, we started this podcast with just the two of us. I think we may have to remind these boys. Anyway,
the OGs.
You are definitely going to. It's a well-deserved vacation, JB, and I'm glad you're getting to take that. We will miss you while you're gone. Either way,
thank you.
If for whatever reason you're interested in following me between our podcast updates, you may do so on the Twitter machine at Drew is okay. Same on Instagram. Same on Blue Sky. Same pretty much forever. I do want to implore you to check out a Prospects Live membership if you haven't, because these kinds of podcasts are free, but all of our written work, including the daily sheet, including our rankings, including things like the live looks that these guys put out from the park. It's our incredible scouting and bite-sized pieces in terms of what did they look like today. It's very simple to understand concept, but these guys are doing amazing work at that. Will's Team of the Month, all kinds of cool stuff coming out. Check that out at prospectslive.com. And boys, I have an interesting thing coming to Twitter here very soon. I know, Jake, you encouraged me the other day to make it into an article. I don't think I necessarily have time to do that, but Drew's Big 12 for the Big 12 is coming to Twitter. I figured it out today. The graphics are in production, and it's going to be a cool thing. My top 12 players of non-conference play to start off the year from the Big 12, inspired not so subtly by Will's Team of the Month. So it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to drop that on Twitter and get the conversation going with all the Big 12 maniacs on there. Until next time, though, want to encourage you all to please leave a 5-star review, a thumbs up, a gold star, a check mark, write the word yes. In the comments, tell us which weekend series you're most looking forward to. Of course, subscribe, all that type stuff, because we're bringing you college baseball action all year long on College Baseball Now. Until next time, for Will, for Jake, for JB, for Josh Catlett, who is here in spirit, and for myself, want to say be nice to yourself, be nice to each other, and we will see you later. Bye, everybody.